Yo, what up, everybody, man? Thanks for tapping in on a Saturday. It's 6 p.m. right here, about 6:09, you know. Today we got another guest, singer, songwriter, rapper, a man of many talents, man. We got MYKA right here and shit. Why don't you introduce yourself a little
Yes, sir.
bit?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. From North Carolina, born and raised, man, from Greensboro. Yeah, man. I've been in LA for about 3 years. Just happy to be here, man. Sit down and talk about my new single coming out next week. And then also too, just the journey of how I got here, and how I got to LA and, everything I've been doing, since I was like a little small boy.
That's what's
Yeah.
up, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you can move the mic a little bit closer
Yeah.
to your mouth because the levels are low and shit. But
Yeah.
oh, that's dope, man. So Greensboro, North Carolina.
Yeah,
born and raised?
Greensboro.
Is that
Greensboro,
like
man.
a small town, like? Because I've never been to North Carolina, so where would that be located from?
So like, if you know Charlotte, Charlotte's like one of the biggest
The big
cities.
cities right
yeah,
there,
the
right?
biggest city, damn near. So like, that's like an hour out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's an hour out. Greensboro is a pretty like, I would say big city in a sense. It's just kind of like, it's very much suburban and country at the same time.
Oh,
so it's like
okay.
a little bit of both, and it's also city. So it's kind of mixed everything in.
Yeah. A lot of cowboys there.
A little bit, man. I went to middle school with a few cowboys.
Oh, really?
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
Like a lot of country kids, man. Like I'm driving to school and it's like
With the hats and the boots
dude,
and stuff. Yeah.
like
all right.
boots, everything, and like also too like farms are like literally on the side as we're
Yeah.
like driving to school on the school bus. So it's like yeah.
Oh man, that's what's up. So a lot of farm area, a lot of open land and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, a lot of open land, man. I mean
Square dancing, like in the
probably
you know?
them, not
Not
my
me.
family, but like probably some of the kids I went to school with for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, definitely.
I've tried some square dancing. It was pretty dope, you know.
Hell yeah, man.
And they have a Spanish square dance actually too. You know that.
I've seen before.
Yeah, you seen it?
Yeah,
They do
for
it like
sure.
in weddings, quinceañeras,
Yep,
and stuff.
definitely
yeah,
seen that.
Yeah, I fucks with that. It's pretty
Yeah,
dope, man.
man.
So yeah, you were growing up in North Carolina. That was like how like what because you moved out, right? So out of
Yeah.
from North Carolina. What's actually go back a little bit? What's some of the memories you remember from North Carolina that you miss, bro? That you kind of like.
Man, I'll be real with you. Like, a lot of memories that I had in North Carolina as far as like being outside a lot. Like, I got into skateboarding like really young before music. Like, skateboarding was like the first thing that I was like crazy about. And that happened from just playing the PS2 and playing Tony Hawk. Like,
Oh,
literally,
okay.
I was playing
Yeah,
Tony
yeah.
Hawk.
You were
And
like,
my
"I'ma start
cousin,
skating."
yeah, my cousin was the one who put me onto it. And I ended up getting a PS2 myself, and I was playing Tony Hawk, Project 8, for those who know. And yeah, when I was playing it, man, I was just like, I want to skateboard. I don't know why. And this kid named Nigel Houston, man, big skateboarder. I think he lives out in LA, actually, if I'm not mistaken. But at the time, it wasn't like a lot of skateboarders that I saw that like looked like me. You know, like, because everyone thought skateboarders are always white. They're just like, yeah, like, if you skateboard and you probably like a white boy or you're a white kid or whatever. So to see like a few people who look like me who skateboard, that was cool. So that kind of made me want to do it more.
Oh, okay.
So my dad bought me my first skateboard, and it was actually a Target skateboard. That shit was trash, man. It was not even like a real skateboard.
You were excited at first, though.
I was
though,
excited,
right? Yeah.
and then the wheels weren't turning.
Yeah.
Like
The
they weren't.
bearings
The
ain't the
bearings,
same and
bro,
stuff,
were
you know?
so shitty.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the wheels were not turning. The board was like no type of like concave or whatsoever, man. As far as like what a real skateboard would be and how it's like actually cut and designed. And yeah, man. So I ended up going to a skate shop and out in Greensboro called 915, man. They're closed down, but like that was the first like skate shop and skate park. And my dad took me there and got me my first board, and I got hooked.
That was the pro one and stuff.
Yeah,
right? Oh,
I got
okay.
hooked, man.
So you're good at doing tricks and all that stuff, or?
To this day, I'm decent, but like I'm not what I used to be anymore, like at all. Like I was very, very dedicated to the skating. I was like crazy about skating. So I would definitely go skating with my friends, and that's probably what I miss the most is like skateboarding with my friends. Like go skate day was a thing for us, like in high school. So like we would go to schools and skate. We would go to like abandoned, truck stops and stuff like that and skate. Like I was hitting stair sets. Like I was going crazy.
Oh,
crazy.
that's what. That's.
I was
crazy.
skating like for
Yeah.
sure. I broke my foot one summer, man.
Damn.
Skateboarding.
I tried to skate and I fell like a few times. I was like, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I ain't got no balance
Yeah.
for this stuff. And
Yeah.
Stuff, you know.
I done fucked my shit up and then like had ripped pants.
So that's normal then and stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Man,
I
bro.
just gave up and shit. You know?
Dude, you
Yeah,
literally
yeah.
have, like fuck your shoes up. Like literally.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we had this thing called like shoe glue. So like if your shoes were like fucked and they had holes in them, you'll put this glue over the shoe. so it could keep it, you know, together longer.
Oh, okay, yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
But this is for people who like just wanted to skate. They didn't really give a shit about like how they looked, you know, too much. It was more so just like, man, I want to skate.
Yeah.
You know, and be with my friends and, you know, be outside. And, you know, I remember going to skate parks, bro, and like a little bit of that too is really what got me into making the kind of music that I make. I'll be real with you. Like when I thought back to it, being like 13, 14, 15 years old at the skate park. In skate parks, from what most people do know, they play all different types of music, but mainly they're focusing on playing like a lot of like alternative or like punk, or they'll play like some rap, and it usually is like old school rap, you know, 90s rap. They might play a little bit early 2000s. They don't really play too much of the new stuff, but that's what I was hearing at the skate park. And yeah, that's kind of how I like got into like certain types of music and certain types of aesthetic when it came to just like how I dressed, you know, what I like to listen to. And yeah, so
that was kind of forming you all the way from North Carolina. You were already kind of building your character in a way.
Oh yeah,
right?
for sure,
Yeah.
It started really, really young, man. You know, like diverse group of friends. That was a big thing too as well. So like all my friends were like all different backgrounds. The kind of schools I went to were very different backgrounds. So yeah, I kind of got in like early with like just understanding like different cultures of people in music.
Oh, dope.
Yeah.
And then so going from there, like what got you into music from? Were you, because I remember you say you were getting into music at the age of 13. You wrote your first song and all that.
Yeah.
So what kind of led you to that? Like, you know?
Man, honestly, I'll be real with you. My cousin, like my family is like really big in music. As far as like just being entertainers. Like my mom was a singer. My granddad was in a band as well. So like we always loved music. Oh, and my uncle played drums. So it was like we always loved music. But nobody really like tried to like take a shot at it the way that I did. So when I was like really young, it was kind of like inevitable in a weird way when I think about it. Like, to be honest with you, it was my mom taking me to a lot of concerts. Like my first ever concert, I was like 8, maybe 9. I went to go see Lil Bow Wow.
Oh, okay. I remember bumping Lil Bow Wow.
Bro, if people know, Lil Bow Wow was like Justin Bieber, bro. The way that girls feel about Justin Bieber when he came out, Lil Bow Wow was that, because we had never seen a kid that was that young be so big as an artist.
Oh, okay.
So I always give so much respect to like him and like his whole, you know, career as far as like just starting that young. People don't know that he was on death row.
Oh, really?
You know? Yeah. Lil Bow Wow was on death row. His mom took him to a concert. I think it was a death row concert actually. He might have been like 8, 7 years old, man, rapping. And I forgot who was on stage. He told the story. He was like, somebody was like, yo, who want to come on stage and rap? And she lifted him up in the crowd. Just lift him up.
Yeah.
She was like, my son, dude.
Oh, shit.
Brought him on stage. He rapped on stage with like Dre, Snoop, everybody, just freestyling, cussing and everything. I was like, when I saw the footage, I was like, this is insane.
Yeah.
You know, just seeing him like be so young and rapping. So it's like I would say also influenced a little bit too of just me thinking that I could do it. It was always a thing of just like when I saw somebody who like I felt like resembled or resonated, I could like resonate with. I was like, damn man, I can do this shit. Like why not try it? Especially because I just listened to so much music, and my parents were putting me around so much music and taking me to a lot of concerts.
Yeah,
you know,
and he was like actually doing music with Jermaine Dupri too at one point, right? Like he worked with a lot of big people at such a young age.
Oh yeah, man. He started with Snoop and them first. Like, you know, he was on Death Row, and he's in the Gin and Juice music video.
Oh really?
Dude, he's on Doggy Style, like doing skits.
Oh shit,
like for the Doggy Style album. Yeah. So he was like not officially signed to Death Row, but he was. But it was so much shit going on at that time. They were just like, we can't have a kid on the label, bro. Like. You gotta go.
Yeah, it was gang related, right?
Yeah,
there,
you gotta go. You know, Suge, all that. You know, they got so much going on, and so yeah, basically he was just like, you know, we gotta put you over here with Jermaine Dupri because he had Crisscross.
Yeah.
You know, so he knew how to work with kids.
Yeah. Crisscross was dope too. I still that jump song still be popping in.
Oh yeah, you know? yeah, man. So that was kind of like, you know,
how you got inspired into music
a little bit inspired, man. And then like, you know, as I grew older and found, you know, my things that I was into when it came to music, watching MTV. Watching BET, TRL, all those things.
Yeah, I used to watch TRL and stuff. I remember MTV and stuff.
All those things like literally like inspired me so much. As far as what I was just seeing with like different artists, it was always an artist I feel like I could like resonate with, you know, because of just like background, race, whatever. Man, I was like, damn, you know, like he look cool. He can do it. Damn, I can do it. I can do it. Like I was looking at stuff like that, man. So. Yeah, that's kind of just really what it was.
Yeah. No, that's what's up. So then you when you're 13, you already start writing your own song, kind of, right?
Yeah, my cousin, he helped me write my first song. In his bedroom was a makeshift studio, in his aunt's house. Well, my aunt's house, his mom, and yeah, I was just in there all the time with him. He was making music with his friends, and I just being there chilling, like being a little annoying little cousin. I was like,
what kind of music would he make?
He was rapping.
Oh, rapping.
Yeah,
Okay.
he was rapping. I started out rapping first, and he helped me write my first rap, and yeah, you know, it was dope, and I didn't even realize how dope it was until like, this is crazy. MySpace, Jesus Christ, MySpace. I was like in 6th grade. Yeah. So I'm like 12 going on 13. And I put it on MySpace, and I don't know what made me think to make a song called "They Hate Me," but I made a song called "They Hate Me."
Oh, really?
Yeah, on some like, I think I'm the shit, you know, like
somebody had a song, "You Can Hate Me Now." Who was that?
Is
But
that
I Won't Stop Now? Damn, it was real.
Is that
famous
Bad Boy?
too. Was it a Bad Boy?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's Bad Boy. I think it'd be Mace.
It was Mace, actually.
I think it was Mace. I think it was Mace.
Oh, yeah. That inspired. That probably came after, right?
Yeah, man. That, I don't know what it was. I was just like, at the time, too, and be real with you, like, the jerking era was big. So, like, I'm a kid, and I caught on to, like, what was going on in L.A. with everything with jerking.
Yeah.
Because that was a really big movement for kids in L.A., you know, to, like, be in these jerk, you know, crews and dancing with their friends and whatnot. And I found it on YouTube. I was a YouTube rat, man. Like, I would surf the net, especially on YouTube, and like find different shit that was like off to the, you know, to the side that I didn't even think that I would find. And I found like a video of these kids that were over in Fairfax, like making these jerk videos. They were called the Rangers. And I was like, oh, this is cool. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh, nobody even knows about this.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have that many views. And I was just like, oh, this is something new. And they're dressing different. That was one thing that I noticed too. You know, in LA, these kids had their own like kind of like style.
All right, yeah.
And that's when everybody was hating on kids for wearing skinny jeans. So like when I found it, I was like, oh man, what's this song? The dude he was dancing to his "You're a Jerk." I was like, this is fire.
Yeah.
I was like, this is fire. So when I found "You're a Jerk" in that group New Boys, you know, they're from here. Yeah, man, it just inspired me. I saw kids doing it. You know, like,
so you were like at a young age, you're like, oh man, I can start doing my own song.
Yeah, I mean, because I was like, I got the resources. I don't know what made me think that, like, you know, to make a song, but it was like, I think it was kind of just like a thing that just was in me, you know, where I was just like, I felt like I could do it for some reason. I don't know why. And seeing my cousin do it also kind of made me like think I could do it too as well, because I saw him doing it.
Yeah. And then so like, how did you get into So once you got your first song, you got it recorded. How was that for you? How are you feeling as you're recording the song? What were some of the challenges you were having? I mean, you're 13, so it must have been like, you know, I guess at 13 you don't really care, right?
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. I was just having fun. He found his random beat, you know what I'm saying, and he helped me write the rap, and yeah, it was dope. It was dope, man. It was dope. Shout out to my cousin, man. Shout out to my cousin Stacks,
yeah, he inspired you, man. So then, right now, you're still living in North Carolina, and then after that, where do you move to and stuff then?
Yeah, so I stayed in North Carolina for maybe like 4 or 5 years after that. And yeah, like I was telling you earlier, my dad got a job promotion, and he was like, we got to go. And I had an option to stay in North Carolina with my grandma, or, you know, go to Maryland. And I was like, what the fuck is Maryland? I was just like, I don't want to go there. Like, I'm thinking, like, I want to go to Atlanta, you know, because I got family out there. You know, I want to go somewhere else where I know it's popping, you know, where it's like a lot of people are there, and like, you know, I can really, you know, meet the people that I need to meet for what I'm trying to do. So I was just like, you know what, dude, this might be a sign from God, in the sense of just like, you know, try it. You don't know. You know, a big thing of like doing anything that could be new is risk. And like, you know, it's always going to be risk.
Yeah, definitely. And sometimes you may not, and I speak a lot about this, like sometimes you may not understand why this has to happen to you until you follow through with it and stuff, right? And then things are a lot easier when you, I feel like you embrace it as opposed to encounter resistance and stuff, right? You know,
you gotta embrace it. You know, because you just never know a lot of the time. And I'm always optimistic in that sense, especially like with my friends, people that I know. I'm always super optimistic, man, about everything. So I was sad as hell. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's my senior year, so I'm sad. I'm like,
that's like,
no prom. I'm like, no homecoming. I'm like, damn, all my friends are gonna be here. I'm gonna be in Maryland where I don't know anybody. You know what I'm saying? And like being a new kid at a school in a whole different state is not easy. You know, but when I went there, they were so cool. Everybody kind of just like, you know, accepted me with like open arms. You know, everybody that I was meeting, I was passing my CD out in school. You know, so I was still making music when I was like out there because I would record myself in my bedroom.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
So
like using an app or something?
no,
or?
I had a whole had a laptop, had a microphone, and I would do my own mixing and engineering
Oh, shit.
myself.
Yeah.
And you know, I would have friends kind of help me out with it too as well from back home. And yeah, so I would print up, you know, CDs and whatnot. My dad had a CD burner, and you know, I print out the cover, bought a bunch of slips and whatnot. My dad helped me out with that actually, which is, you know, crazy, man. It's like when I think back, and I went to school and I was passing it out. And it was my first, like, ever, like, you know, I guess you can consider mixtape, you know, that I had worked on. And my teachers had it, you know. So I was, like, known as a kid in school that made music when I first got there because I was, like, immediately when I got there, I started, like, you know, passing out music and shit. And, yeah, so, yeah, people were just really, really accepting.
Oh, that's dope, dude.
They were.
And then you stayed in Maryland, you graduated from there, and then kind of like what happened after that?
Graduated from there, man. Didn't go to college because I just was like, man, I want to take a year off to figure out what I really want to do. I don't want to like jump the gun because I was very, very good at engineering, you know, and I knew the ins and outs of it, that I was going to go to school for it. But I told my mom, I was just
engineering, like music and stuff?
Music, yeah.
So you're good at recording. You can record like on a studio and all that stuff?
Yeah,
You know,
it's been a minute, but like if I really like got back into it the way I know, you know, that I was used to doing it, could definitely do it. You know, right now I work with like different producers and engineers, but when I did leave, we went to Maryland. We went to Florida actually. My bad. Right after because he got another promotion to go somewhere else. So I didn't even get to spend that much time in Maryland. I was only there for maybe a year and a half.
Yeah.
You know.
Damn, and you're moving like I think like at critical ages of growing up, right? Like.
Yeah, man. That was like a lot too.
Because now you're like a young adult moving to.
I'm not even legal
Florida,
yet.
Right?
I'm not even legal yet. I was in Florida, still not legal.
Oh,
you know, like, you know, so I was having to figure out so much. My parents were trying to like, you know, build their careers and, you know, get us off the ground. But at the same time, we were getting to a better place, you know, financially for sure, just because my dad was getting promotions. And I remember getting to Florida, man, his job put us up in some like resort. And everybody was like, man, you at a resort, bro? Like, I know you're having fun. Like, I was like, this shit is hell, bro. Like, it's not even what people think it is, man. This is not Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, you know, when they are like on the yacht and they stay like in the hotel and they know all the like staff and it's like a whole thing. It's like, dude, this is depressing. You know what I'm saying? Like damn near where it was like I had no friends. Like I'm by myself once again, having to figure this out. Of course, my family is there, but like I'm young, you know. So your friends mean a lot to you.
Did that give you time to focus like on music more a little bit, or you weren't really focusing on music at this point?
Nah, always was.
Yeah?
Always was, man. That was what kept me sane. Literally, like being locked in and being so secluded from so many people. And I'm in the suburbs of Florida too, so it's like right outside Orlando. It's called Kissimmee.
Oh, okay.
So like literally, I'm so far away from certain things. So like, dude, I was, you know, just trying to make music to keep myself sane a lot of the time and still tap in with people from like, you know, back home and also to connect with different people through SoundCloud because SoundCloud had just started taking off at the time.
Oh, okay.
And that's
so
how
were you uploading your music into SoundCloud?
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
Right.
Around 2014, I would say that's when SoundCloud really like kind of hit and people started using it a little bit more. So I met a producer that I actually found out about through my sister. My sister would play a lot of these artists from Atlanta because I was visiting Atlanta a lot, and the scene in Atlanta was like so dope at that time with like underground artists and like what they were doing that I was like, oh, this song is so sick. Let me look up this producer because I love the beat. The beat was fire. So I looked him up and hit him up on SoundCloud. And he was like, dude, I live in Florida. He was like, I'm in Miami. I was like, oh shit, I just got to Florida.
No, yeah.
And I was like, yo, dude.
That's like a coincidence right there.
Yeah, I was like, dude, let's work. He was like, yo,
yeah.
let's do it. He was like, come out to Florida. Come to Hollywood, Florida. Actually, that's where he lived at. Peter, shout out Peter, man. And yeah, man, I went out there. My mom was like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm about to get on the Greyhound and go out to Miami. Like, I think it was actually the Mega Bus. I was like, I'm about to get on the Mega Bus and go to Miami. She was like, you don't even know this dude? Like, why are you just going out there for? I was just like, yo, he's working with artists who are doing their shit in Atlanta right now. And I was like, I have to go. He's invited me to go and work on music. So
yeah, it's for sure worth going to go try it out.
Yeah, he let me sleep on his couch, man, for a whole weekend. Like he was like super chill. He was like, dude, I just want to help this kid. He was like, I can tell that he's like super passionate about some shit and he wants to do something different than what I'm probably used to even making. You know, he was telling me like, man, I don't remember the last time I picked up a guitar, you know, and like played on a song. He was like, it's dope to see that you want to incorporate that in your music. So yeah, you know, so stayed there for a little bit and then I kind of got over it because Peter also too had other artists he was working with, so I couldn't be in the studio as much as I wanted to, and I felt like I was like kind of hitting a wall at that point because I was there, but there were not any opportunities that I could really create for myself, or I didn't have a team. You know, it was just me.
Yeah, it does take a team. That's what I noticed
Yep.
too, man. I
Yep.
think an artist that kind of tries to do everything himself, I think it's possible, but there's always going to be things that slip by, opportunities that pass by, I think, right?
Exactly.
Because you need a team that I feel can be taking care of this for you while you're doing this and, you know, getting you like on stage and all that stuff too, right? Like on openers and everything.
You need
like
that.
you
And
know?
I had that in Maryland, which is
Yeah,
why I
yeah.
went back. My homie Jean-Marc, man, like we've been knowing each other for like 10 plus years. I met him out there, and I met him randomly in Maryland before I left. And we had worked on music videos. We had worked on a lot of things together. Just like, you know, creative people just wanted like, you know, bounce ideas back and forth and, you know, collaborate on things. So when I went to Florida after I left Maryland, we had created a music festival prior. Me, him, and a bunch of homies and whatnot. And he was kind of like the orchestrator of a lot of those things. And we kind of just came through with ideas of how to like bring the city together with artists. We did a free show, and it was fire.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Free shows are dope, I think. You know?
Yeah, dude, it was a free
Yeah,
show.
like a festival too, right? So you got
Dude.
food vendors, you got the whole nine right there.
Exactly. So he's such a like mastermind on like, you know, wanting to expand and do things even bigger. And so am I. That's why we always kind of like come together when it, you know, when we're trying to like do anything creative. So yeah, you know, I went out to Florida. He called me. He was like, yo, dude, I'm doing another festival. He was like, we're going to do it this time, but for real. I was like, what? He was like, I'm doing it this time, but for real. He was like, we're going to book like real artists, like big artists.
Oh, okay. Because the
like,
first one was kind of like you and a couple local, like burly up and coming and stuff.
Yeah, local artists. So he
Okay.
was like, let's make it a real festival, man. And when I heard that shit and I heard who they were thinking about getting for the show, I told my mom, I was like, hey, look, I'm going back. You know, I wasn't even 21 yet. I was like, yo, I'm going back. And she was like, for real? I went back to Maryland with like $300 in my pocket and got a one-way ticket. Went to my boy's crib, slept on his couch for months. You know what I'm saying? I worked like 2 jobs. You know,
yeah, because it's expensive to throw festivals. Like
It's
artists
expensive.
are expensive too. I think,
yeah,
right?
artists
You
are
know?
expensive. And we had a bunch of friends who got together to throw that shit. And
What are some of the challenges you guys ran into throwing like a show?
man, honestly, just like budget. You know, like the biggest things that you run into is city shit. You know, like that's one thing that like I found out when they were like doing everything, you know, that he would talk to me about is that like the city shit is what got in the way. We were doing so well, and he was so passionate about it because it was something that he very much so was trying to like brand and create and make a thing for the city. And yeah, it sucked to see that happen, unfortunately. But like everybody in the city who knows that's from that area, Frederick, Maryland, they know that that was the first thing that was ever brought to the city that was like for kids or for anybody who really wanted to like be inspired, you know, because it's so small out there. So when you bring that kind of thing there, you're inspiring a bunch of kids who never probably even seen these artists.
Yeah,
you know?
they probably a couple of kids went home that day, picked up an instrument or something. Too,
Yeah,
right?
man.
Or start asking about, I want to sing or something like that. And I think that's
Exactly.
dope, man, to do that, you know?
Exactly.
And this is why we try and bring like guests here from like different walks of life, man.
Yeah.
You know, like different genres of music and stuff instead of just gangster rap. Like that's kind of like what we started invested in.
Yep.
And now we're doing like Spanish cumbias. Now we're,
fire.
we want to do singing and all that stuff, man, you know? So like to inspire people in different angles because not everybody can rap. Some people can sing. Some people can't do anything, but they can record, right? They can engineer, they can make beats, they can produce,
There's
they can
so many
film.
things.
Yeah, it's so many things to do, right?
So many,
like,
man. So many.
Where it's like they just need to hear that story of that one person, I feel sometimes, to be like, oh shit, I didn't even know that was a thing, right? And then it's like, I like that, you know?
Yeah, the story is everything. Yeah, man. So I mean, that was like a big part of like why we're doing what we're doing to inspire. You know, we wanted to create an experience, you know, even just in my own music, everything we did, you know, at the time and even now, we want to create experience for everybody who is tuning in, who's listening, who's watching. It was never about just doing something just to do it. We don't give a shit about that, like at all. Never did. You know, you want to inspire people. And you want people to come out of there being like, damn, that shit was crazy. Like, I've never seen anything like that before. Like, getting creative with everything that you're doing is number one. So, yeah, man. So, like, you know, when I went back, you know, we put together that festival, man. And
This
like
is the second one already that
the
you guys have
second
been
one,
working
man.
on,
The
right?
second one, it was called Anchorfest, man. And yeah, that shit was amazing. And at that time, like I said, I had worked 2 jobs, and I was definitely, sleeping on the couch trying to figure this shit out.
The sacrifice and shit,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, man. I was the youngest out of everybody, all my friends, and we ended up moving in with each other, getting a crib. So moving out, even that young, man, was a big change for me, and being on my own at 20, like that was like a big change.
But back to the festival a little bit too. So what were some of the artists you had at Anchorfest, you said?
Yeah, Anchorfest, man. Crazy enough, like this was like on the peak of like these like I guess you consider what they would call at the time SoundCloud rappers or artists.
Sure.
So they ended up having Playboy Cardi and Little Uzi Vert. And that was like serious for us at the time, to book those 2 artists, because they were just so big at the time. But now they're mega stars.
Yeah, I know, because I haven't heard of the Playboy Cardi, but I've heard of Little Uzi Vert.
Oh, yeah, they're superstars now.
Sure, right?
Playboy Cardi just dropped an album, man, and like it's the biggest album in the past like 5 or so years for a rapper to ever chart on Billboard. I think he has 30 songs on Billboard.
Oh, wow, that's crazy, right?
Yeah, so he's the first, like, one of the first rappers to do that, if I'm not mistaken, from what I saw. So, like, he's huge right now, man. It's just dope to see that, like, we always knew what would be it. We were always like that. Even back, like, when we just tapping with friends who DJ'd, like, we knew so much music, and we were so into, like, what was, like, the new up-and-coming, because we were just so music all the time, and, like, what was cool and what was dope, that, like, would tell DJs to play certain songs. Like, yo, this artist right here, play them. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're on the come up right now. He would play it. A couple months later, it's a hit.
Man,
like,
that's a trip, dude.
It's the craziest thing, man. It's the craziest thing.
And then it's kind of like, how was it working with these artists? Is that something you had to deal with or not?
For the ones we booked,
yeah.
I mean, that wasn't anything I dealt with. That meant more so was him, because he was the one that was more so like orchestrating and kind of just like putting together the show.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
we were kind of just all collaborators in our own right, and we kind of brought everything to the table if we could. I was more so just an art. I performed on the stage too as well.
Oh, that's dope. Yeah.
So like I opened up for them. So
you already had experience opening up in 2 different shows and stuff, basically. And stuff, right?
Yeah. I did a lot of shows back home in North Carolina too as well when I was like a lot younger. Like I think I started performing like maybe like around like 14.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I started performing like really, really young, man. 14, 15 years old. So I had already like kind of like had my hand at it, but I had never been on a stage that big.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? That was a bigger stage,
Oh, that's dope.
Way
right?
more
Good
people.
experience and stuff.
Yeah, I'm 19.
Yeah,
I'm 19 on stage, like, man, I'm nervous as shit. Like,
it was a good turnout, I would imagine, too, and stuff.
Yeah, it was sick. It was sick, man. And then, we celebrated afterwards, man. And yeah, that was a moment to remember for sure. And then right after that, we stayed there for a little bit longer. I'd have stayed up for a couple years. And then we left and went to Philadelphia. Which is like mad random, but
yeah. Philly, is that because your dad's promotion?
Nah,
this is you like living your life now.
This is me. Because by the time I moved back to Maryland, I was on my own. So like, literally, my manager at the time, he was like, "Bro, I think we should move." And I was like, "Okay, cool, let's do it." You know what I'm saying? Like, because I had a manager at the time before him who lived in New York, and she was a stylist, and I was just like, "Yo, honestly, I want to be closer to her to be able to work more in New York, because Maryland's not too far, but Philly's even closer.
Yeah.
And Philly's a little bit more, a little bit more cheaper, as far as like the cost of living. So we were like, yo, let's go to Philly, And at the time, my boy John Mark, he was dating a girl that was, living in Philly, and she had spent a lot of time out there. So we all went out to Philly, and that was a complete different thing, man. That was insane. I love Philly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've never. Oh, I've been to Philly actually too.
Yo, Philly's fire, man.
Yeah.
Philly is so fire. Like the people out there are so eclectic. Like they have their own, like they got their own lingo. They got their own way of dressing. Like that's where Lil Uzi's from.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's fire, man. I definitely love it out there. All my friends that I met out there, man, are amazing. Like I put together shows out there with friends. Like shows for like artists. We put together, so much shit with each other, man. It was so much fun. I performed a lot out there.
They have like Amish town out there in Philadelphia.
I
like
think
in
they
the
do.
Surrounding area.
Yeah,
right?
I think they do.
Yeah, because I went to downtown Philly once.
Yeah,
because I used to
grimy.
And then
grimy.
then I ended up having to drive into like an Amish town. I remember seeing like the carriages and the horses and stuff like that,
Yep.
and a lot of big like farm type homes and stuff.
Yeah.
As I went into the small town and stuff.
Oh
man,
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely,
yeah,
man. It's a beautiful city though.
yeah.
Like it's a really beautiful city, man. And that was like the first major city I lived in.
Yeah, I think I landed.
Yeah.
First thing I went to go do was get a Philly cheesesteak sandwich.
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. You got to.
They got like 2 spots they were recommending, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna go.
Oh, you got to.
And mess with this, you know.
Got to, man.
Yeah.
You know, I had so much fun there, and I met so many artists and friends, man. And yeah, it was a beautiful thing. It was definitely a beautiful thing.
Yeah. How long did you stay right there?
I stayed in Philly for about a year and a half. Because when I get funny enough, when I got there, this was like right before the pandemic. So it's crazy to even like see that like I was there right around that time those things went down. So I didn't get to spend as much time as I would have liked there because I probably would have stayed.
Yeah,
You know, but
okay.
things happen for a reason, which is crazy
Yeah.
with the universe, man. Because after the pandemic, I went back home, like most young adults did. You know, they all went back home, and you know,
Yeah, like if I gotta be on lockdown, it's gotta be with somebody I want to be with, either your girl or your family and stuff, right? You know?
Yeah, man. I was like, look, I
It
wasn't one of the
scary
ones.
time too, right?
It was scary too. I wasn't one of the ones who like had a shorty, you know, a girl that I was dating during the pandemic, you know, because a lot of pandemic babies was definitely being made.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
for sure. Right?
They was definitely being made. I wasn't one of them ones at all, man. So I went back home and stayed with my parents for a little bit. And and then found a way to like, you know, get out here to LA and been here ever since.
Yeah, how long you been here? When did you land here in LA?
I got here in LA, I would say around like 2022. But I had been visiting, you know, my first time coming here was from my sister. She had lived here and she moved back actually recently. And this was 2018. And that was the first time I came here. And I came here to see her and, you know, also to work on some music because I had met a producer. And this is crazy too because the same way that I connected with my guy Peter through SoundCloud, I was always like just very much in people's DMs, like trying to hit up, you know, whoever and looking through the comments and looking through the followers and seeing who's who. Like I'm looking at the credits. Like I'm like, who's this guy? Who works with this guy? And it's this engineer man named Anthony Kilhofer. And he basically worked on a lot of stuff with Kanye West and Kid Cudi, Jay-Z. You know, he worked on a lot of things with these guys. He's been engineering for Kanye since I would say late registration, from what I know.
Oh man!
So he's also the same person who found Travis Scott. So
you don't mind moving the mic a little bit,
Yeah.
like this, like out, because I see it blocking your face right there and stuff. Yeah,
No, you good.
Yeah,
Let's see.
my bad. Yeah.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
sorry about that, fellas.
yeah, Travis Scott.
So you were like looking at the behind the scenes, like you know the artist is dope. So you're like, who's the people behind this? And
Yeah,
stuff,
I'm looking
right?
at that. I'm like,
That's
yo.
a good strategy and stuff, man. I never thought of that. You know?
Yeah, man. I was always like going into people's like, you know, followers and whatnot and just seeing who's who, looking at the credits on songs. Like, and when I saw, you know, a Travis Scott interview, like I said, like I live on YouTube, you know what I'm saying? Like I live like within that realm of things because I'm just trying to retain knowledge and learn so much about people's stories.
Okay.
So honestly, when I watched a Travis Scott interview and he brought him up, I was like, who the fuck is this dude? So I looked him up and figured out who he was. So I ended up finding somebody who actually was a collaborator with him. And his name is Roach. And he lived out here. I think he still does live out here, if I'm not mistaken. So I remember like, damn, I found him on Twitter. I was like, yo, he got a couple hundred followers. I was like, what? This is crazy. And I've always been like a big Kid Cudi fan. Like I'm a huge Kid Cudi fan.
Yeah, I see it on your Instagram post. You use a lot of his songs and stuff too, right?
Yeah, man, I'm a big Kid Cudi fan, man. Like I've always been like, you know, big on his message, you know, and what he's been preaching for so long through the music. And so I've always been like, man, I gotta sign to Cudi. Like he has a label. I gotta sign to him. Like, how am I gonna do
one of
it?
your goals and stuff.
Bro, I'm like, how am I gonna do it? How am I gonna do it? Because I knew he had a label, but he never signed anybody. And I was just like, man, like I want to be the first one. How can I make that happen? I gotta find somebody who worked with him. So I ended up, you know, being like, I'm gonna hit this dude up, Roach. So I hit him up, and I was like, yo, bro, love your work or whatever. Like, take a listen to my song. And he liked what he heard. You know, he liked the songs that I had that were unreleased. And when he heard him, he was like, bro, like, you ever been out to LA before? Like, you know, where you staying at? I was like, man, I'm over, you know, at the time, I think I might have been in Maryland, actually. I was in Maryland.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, I'll come out. Like, fuck it, I'll be there.
At this time, at
So-
this point, you're used to moving around too, right? You're
Yeah,
kind of like, man,
yeah.
I'll go over there. I can come back.
I'll figure it
and
out.
do this,
I
right?
get the money. I'll figure it
Yeah.
out. Hit my sister up. I was like, hey, look, you know, I'm trying to come to LA. She was like, yeah, like all my friends are gonna come too as well. You can stay with me. I was like, perfect. So told him when I was coming and came out there, and I didn't know what was gonna be like, you know, the situation of when we met. It was more so like, you know, come link me and let me hear what some stuff you've been working on, and linked him, you know, played him some new music. He was like, okay, cool. All right, cool. We're about to go to the studio. I was like, all right.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, cool. So we're driving to the studio.
As soon as you got in contact with him and
Yeah.
stuff.
He was like, okay, cool, we're gonna go to the studio. I'm like, all right, cool. So we're driving to the studio. And like literally, as we're pulling up, he's like, oh, so by the way, like the studio we're at right now, this is like where Kanye makes a lot of his stuff. I'm like, what? I'm like, yo, what the fuck? He's like, yeah, he made like a lot of his albums, like, you know, the 7-track albums, like Kids He Goes with Cudi and everything, like the Nas album, he made all that here.
Oh,
I
that's
was
dope,
like,
man. Yeah.
what the fuck? So I walk up to the building. It's a big ass black building. The whole building is black.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Kanye's label at the time, Good Music. Good Music was like huge.
All
Like
right.
they had everybody on there: Pusha T, Cudi, Common, Big Sean, so many artists. Travis Scott, there was like, you know, a part of it too as well. And I walk up and it has a Good Music Studios on the door. I'm like, oh shit, my heart beating.
Yeah.
I'm like,
so
oh,
this
shit.
is like a super pro studio too, right here.
Yeah,
man. Right?
I'm just like, oh shit, because I'm
Yeah.
just like, I don't know who about to be in the studio.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, my heart beating fast as shit. And funny enough, like I wore this this merch from one of the albums he worked on in the studio. I'm like, man, the universe is crazy as shit, because I didn't think we were going there
Yeah.
at all. So when we go up there, the dude Anthony Kilhoffer is in there. I'm like, oh shit, bro. The dude that worked on everything with Kanye.
Yeah.
And he was Travis Scott's manager. He found him. So I'm looking at the dude. I'm like, yo, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't even not think I was gonna be here with you, bro.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not telling him that, but I'm feeling that,
Sure,
you know,
sure.
because like,
Outside, you're trying to
Yeah.
act all nonchalant and stuff, right?
yeah,
You know?
man, like, you know,
Yeah.
and they see me with the Kids See Ghosts, you know, shirt on and shit. He's probably looking like, yeah, this kid a Kanye fan, or he like, you know, he like Cudi,
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying? And yeah, bro. So we ended up working on a song, like on some like just rough stuff, and I was like freaking out the whole time, like, dude, I was like pacing it back and forth, in and out, chain smoking cigs and shit. I'm like, yo, I'm stressed the fuck out. I call my boy. I'm like, yo, bro, you don't believe where I'm at right now. He's like, where are you at? I'm like, yo, I'm in the studio with Kanye Engineer. He like, yo, get the fuck out of here. What the fuck? I'm like, yo, man, like, I don't know what's happening. I'm just like, yo, we working on a song. He's like, you working on a fucking song?
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, man. Like, so that was cool, man, to have that experience. And shout out to Roach. For real, man. You know, I don't talk to him as much, but shout out to him, man, because he worked on the song with me, and like him bringing me in that room and inspired me in that way, it meant a lot, for sure.
Yeah.
It definitely did.
And you guys put that song out, or?
Nah, man, it never came out.
Oh,
you know what
shit,
I'm saying?
that's
Like,
weird, right?
you know how shit me, man. People be busy. Like, they
Yeah,
got
yeah.
other artists they're working with. You know, I'm not a
Yeah,
priority. I'm new, and I was just grateful to be in the room and work
No,
on
for
something.
sure. Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
because like, even if I cross paths again, they'll be like, "Oh, you were that kid that was, you know, in the studio.
Yeah.
I did a push-up contest with." I'm like, "Yeah, that was
Or
me."
like if you go and you make it big on your own, you know, like right, like
Yeah.
they'll release that song.
Oh,
again.
yeah, that's definitely
And then
gonna- that's definitely
you know,
gonna happen.
I can understand how they keep songs because like you know, like one of the things I saw when I started investing in music was that we would make so many songs. Dude, we got songs that were made 3 years ago.
Yep,
They still ain't released. Like we're barely gonna release this EP
Yep.
that has been done 3 years ago.
that's how it is
You
sometimes.
know,
man.
and
Hate it.
sometimes you even
Hate it
forget the
so
songs that you
much.
have because you have so many songs.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, sometimes I run into a song and I'm like, oh, shoot, I forgot all about this one. And then I try and find
Yep.
the studio, like, oh, hey, can we get this mixed and mastered because we want to put it out, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah. And then you're always working on new stuff too, that it kind of, the old stuff, you kind of forget about it in a way, man, you know?
yeah, man. Because it's like you got to keep at it. You
And
gotta keep at
I
it
would
as
think
much as
these
you can.
producers, yeah, sorry, man. Yeah. I was thinking these producers, they must have 3-4 times the amount of music, right? Because they're discovering artists all the time. They're working with the big time artists all the time, right? So it's kind of like they would lose track of these songs as well too, I would think.
Yep.
Right? Yeah, you know?
Yep, because you got so many songs you're working on. So it's like, damn, man, you know, you're trying to do the best that you can, you know, to finish these songs. But it's like you got an idea, you put it out, you know, you put it, you know, on wax, and you figure out, you know, if you're going to use it or not.
Yeah, yeah.
But if not, you move on to the next one.
And I think that's what's dope about YouTube and like being able to use DistroKid to distribute your own music and all that, right? Now it's
TuneCore, all of it.
like nobody can stop you, right? Like it's kind of like, you know what, I feel good about this. Let me put some music out and get the feelers out or whatever and stuff, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
No,
Is
you're
that kind of like the stage you're in right now, or?
Yeah. I'm with a distribution company right now. I've been with them for about, I would say, maybe like 2 years, a little bit over 2 years. I actually met one of the girls who organizes events and shows in LA. They call it Breaking Sound. And I think I might have been at a Breaking Sound show, if I'm not mistaken, to see an act, you know, and she was there with one of her other friends that she works with. And we literally just hit it off. They were like, yo, like, you're really cool. I think I went by myself, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, she was like, you're really cool. And they were like, yo, we'll give you a ride home. I was like, okay, cool. As I'm in the car, they're like, yo, play some music. So I'm playing some of the songs. They're like, yo, you're really good. They were like, who are you? Like, are you signed with anybody, like distribution or something like that? I'm like, no. They were like, yo, we're going to put you on a call, right, you know, as soon as we can, you know, with somebody that, you know, I think might be interested in you. And I was like, oh, shit, this is random, you know, very random. And I've been with them for a little bit and did a few shows in L.A. So, yeah, you know, I'm releasing my next single, New Beginnings, next Friday on the 28th with them. And they've been, like, waiting for me to, like, put some stuff out. Man.
Oh, dope. That's good, man. That's exciting. So you're going to have your first, this is your first professional single that's going to get put out?
Nah, I mean, in 2 years, yeah.
In 2 years, right?
Yeah, in 2 years. It's been 2 years, man, you know, since I put out a song.
Because you've been doing your music, but you've been doing it at shows. You never really put it out into Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube.
Yeah, some of it like that, yeah. I mean, a lot of it I was putting out myself through, like, TuneCore, which is kind of like DistroKid. Yeah. So I had an EP that I put out. I had a lot of music videos. So, yeah, basically we had been putting out the music ourselves with my manager at the time.
Yeah, dope.
And that was all through DSP. So it was on everything, Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube. So we were really like our own distribution and our own, you know, marketing company and everything that we were doing. It was very much so that we were kind of just trying to make sure that we can get seen as much as possible, you know?
Yeah.
So now I have somebody kind of helping. I have a publicist now that I work with who does PR. And
all part of the network that you're connected to with now, right? The distribution.
Yeah. In a sense, the PR was through my manager at the time. He found her. She's great. She's amazing, man. And she's helped me get like a lot of dope shows and a lot of dope placements. So yeah, continuing to work with them and keep building the team. I mean, that's like number one is building the team up. And yeah, going from there. I'm very, very excited to put this song out, man. I mean, we have a music video that we're working on right now.
When is that going to be out?
Hopefully, like in the next like week or two, I would hope so.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's a lot of things that we got to get in order first before, you know, we can get that released. But shout out to my boy Fern and shout out to my boy Marcus, man, who like came together to shoot the video for me, and also too, Fern and my boy Danny, they like mastered the track too as well, which is pretty sick, you know, and worked on a few things with me outside of that on other songs. So it's dope, man. It's dope to have like friends that you work with, you know, that believe in what you got going on, you know, and they just want to just like do dope shit.
Yeah.
That's what I like the most is that I have friends who just want to do dope shit, and I'm always grateful.
It makes it fun too, right?
Yeah, I'm always grateful for that.
Yeah,
man. It makes it a lot more fun because I'm very, very like picky with who I have around. You know, like I don't really like being with too many people. I'm very, very like, you know, easy to talk to, and I can talk to anybody, you know. But as far as like bringing you in my circle and like having somebody that knows me well, it's not something that I do often at all. But I'm very open, you know what I'm saying? If somebody comes to me and talks to me, I'm like, yo, what's up, man? You know? Like we can have a whole conversation all the time, you know, especially if I had a few tequila shots. I'm like, yo, what's up, dude? What's up?
Yeah. Alcohol always makes it a little bit easier to vibe to.
Like,
that's for sure, man. You know
what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. It seemed like your dad tapped in. Michael Smith.
Oh, for real?
He said, "Thank you." He goes, "That's my son. Love his journey and stuff." You know.
Oh, fire! Shout out to my dad, man.
Yeah. Dre Versati.
Yeah.
He's like MYKA exclamation marks. Thanks for tapping in, guys. You know, and SOS Best. Thanks for tapping in. She says salute to Smith.
Yeah.
I think your mom's here too. S. Smith, my baby. I'm so proud of him and shit. You know?
That's my mom.
Yeah. No, that's dope. You look like you got a good support system. You got little Frank. Hell yeah, Twin. John Mag. Yeah. You know? Thanks for you guys to tap in, man. You know, make sure you drop a subscribe and a like and a comment later, man, you know, so we can get a little bit more views on the episode, you know, help out MYKA right here and
Yeah,
get,
absolutely, man. Yeah,
with his
let's
music
get this
journey
to
and stuff.
a million views.
Yeah, for sure, man. Whatever we can,
Get him a
you
million
know?
subscribers,
Yeah,
man.
you know, and nah, we enjoy bringing these stories, bro, because like I said, you know, and like, what is it that you enjoy about songwriting?
I think honestly the biggest part of it that I always enjoy is like starting with like the first line. Like because, you know, most say it's like the hardest part, but like when I start with the first line, it just makes it flow from there. And I love that like, you know, I can tell a story about mostly things that are just going on in my life.
Okay.
You know, like from relationships to like things with family and things that are just going on in my own personal life and things that I might have seen, you know, around me from friends and whatnot, man. So yeah, that's the best part about it. I would probably say is like the songwriting and melody too. Like I love melody, so it's like that's one thing that I learned is you don't overthink melody at all. Like we learned melody as kids. You know, ABCs is a melody.
Yeah.
You know that
You learn it through a song and stuff, right?
yeah, it's
You
like
know?
melody is so quick and easy to learn that like you should never overthink it because it's just some of the most simplistic way to like, you know, I guess you can say articulate or communicate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
that's
that's
dope.
probably
Yeah,
the best
yeah,
part
yeah.
about it. I would
And what
probably
about
say.
singing?
Yeah, singing too. Singing came a little bit later because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
started rapping first.
Oh,
So
okay.
like I always loved singing, you know, and singing along the songs and whatnot. And I always wanted to incorporate it. My mom was a singer, man, and she was really, really talented. Still is, you know what I'm saying, to this day. And yeah, man. So I definitely incorporated it. Like maybe in high school ish, I started putting melody a little bit more in my songs. But yeah, like singing definitely something that I had to like, you know, exercise a little bit more so I could like do it well. Cause it didn't start off well at first. And I got better with it as time progressed. And still getting better with it. It's like a muscle. So you gotta like definitely exercise that muscle. And I had a vocal coach at one point, and she taught me a few like warm ups and exercises, which is really cool.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, man, you know, you
You
definitely
like
gotta
hitting like
practice.
high notes type stuff or like
A little bit. Like
Yeah?
I'm not too crazy with that. Like
Yeah.
I'm not like Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Alright.
Like I'm not like that, but like
Yeah.
I'm definitely like, you know, I do it in my own way, for sure. And yeah, man, you know, I've gotten to the point where like I'm more comfortable with my voice than I've ever been. So I'm very, very excited, you know, to like let people hear like a lot of the new songs that I've been working on that I'm like doing different, you know, experimental things with my voice and showing more range, you know, too as well.
Okay. Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
it's gonna be dope. It's gonna be dope, man. I'm excited. I'm super excited. Like, I'm
Dope,
not gonna lie to
That's
you.
good, man.
Yeah.
And then like so like where do you see yourself like in 5 years, bro?
Honestly, man, like, God, I feel like when I hear this question, I'm just like, oh shit, okay, I gotta be ready. I gotta be ready 'cause I gotta be ready for this one. Man, honestly, settled mentally, and happy. You know, like completely happy. You know, in the sense of like with family, you know, with friends, and being very, very content with everything that I'm working on at this point up until then.
Mm-hmm.
Which is just kind of just staying focused to like the end all be all of like what the whole grind and what the purpose is behind what it is that I'm doing and that we're doing as a team, you know. So I would say I really want to be like, you know, just happy, man, you know, with friends and family, you know, and spending time with them, you know. Probably maybe have you know, a family. I don't know. You know what I'm
in
saying?
5 years, that's a little short term and shit.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean,
but
like,
hey, you
I
never
don't
know, man.
You
never
maybe,
know, you know?
maybe right
Yeah,
now
yeah.
I'm not dating right
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
you know, at all. I'm very much so single
Yeah.
and trying to just stay focused, man, and just like prioritize what matters the most. I think people kind of like lose track of that due to like not having a purpose.
Yeah.
You know, when you have a purpose, you're very, very like focused and you're, you know, completely what you're, you know, trying to be on.
Yeah.
You don't have distractions coming in because, you know, relationships can be distractions for men and women. I won't
Yeah.
even just say, you know, guys for women. It's like the same thing or, you know, on both sides. So it's like you definitely want to like, you know, be focused to what you got going on. And then, you know, when that time approaches and it's, you know, it's going to make sense. It's going to make sense,
I'll tell you something.
Yeah.
It happened in reverse to me.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, like to me, I was a literal screw up, fuck up type
You're a
person.
fucking unicorn.
Yeah, and then I got with my wife. You know, we've known each other for kids. We dated different people.
Oh, that's what it is.
Around our thing. You
That's
know?
what it is.
Yeah, and
See?
then so when we got together, I think I was 19, or I was 20, she was 19. We started dating.
Damn.
2 years later, we were engaged. A year later, we were married.
Damn.
And 2 years, we had a kid. Huh?
Damn.
And then a couple years later, now we have 3 kids and stuff,
Damn.
And now my son's 14, my daughter's 11, my daughter's 10. So,
Damn.
But it all happened. And then within that period of 20 to getting married, like I was working, I had a career.
Oh yeah, so you were doing your thing.
But I would have probably never. No, like it all happened after my relationship.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like if before my relationship, I don't think I would have put that in the pathway.
Okay,
if that makes sense, right? Like I was still screwing up, like whatever and stuff,
Yeah.
But I think as that was my stability point, I guess, right? Like I got in a serious relationship, and then from there was like oh shit, I'm gonna get a job, oh I'm gonna get a career, oh boom, and then like that.
Yeah.
And it worked out for me backwards, I guess. Does that make sense? Because I know a lot of folks like to get all their stability and then get in a relationship and stuff. Yeah.
Sometimes it can happen the other way around. You're right.
Yeah.
I think honestly at that point it's just like that's destiny.
I always believe in destiny, dude.
Yeah.
I talk a lot about it here and stuff, man.
You got to, man.
Where it's like
things are destined, man.
Things are slapping me in the face in this direction consistently. Like, you know what? Let me try this way.
Yeah.
You get me? And sometimes like I'll bring it up, like I'll tell my wife, like, damn, like, I just seen this truck and it had this message, and then I'm like, but damn, then I got this phone call and it was like an opportunity.
Yeah.
And then it's like, damn, then my mom called me and was like, oh, what's going on? Like, and it's like, like it's almost like all these things, like, it's just like, damn, sometimes you don't know what the universe is saying, right? You just got to listen.
You just got to just
and then
pay
take
attention.
a leap sometimes or something,
You have to
right?
every single time, man. You have to as much as you can. I mean, your book is already written. I believe that very, very, very much. Is that like your book is completely written, and it's going to like, be what it is. Everything. I always say everything is because it is. And as much as you think you're controlling it, it's not anything that you're really controlling too much. It's kind of just like already being, written, while it's happening. And that's why people say always live in the present, live in the moment.
Yeah. And something else that I trip out, like, and it's probably for everybody else here too.
Yeah.
We were never planning on doing a podcast. And it kind of just like played out where it was like, oh, okay. And then we didn't have a host. And I was kind of like, oh, I'll just step up. I'll be a host. I don't even know what to do. But I was like, I could talk, I guess, you know? And then we hopped on it. And then we're like, damn, we don't know what we're going to do this episode. Yeah. And every time I was going to be like, nah, we won't do it today, man. Like, we don't have a guest or something in the beginning, right? A friend will call, what up, man? I'm going to pull up. And we'll just do an episode and talk about whatever and shit.
Yep.
Like 3 times that happened to me where it was like, oh, we won't do it today. And the homie calls like an hour. It's Buck the Great. Shout out to Buck the Great, man,
Yeah.
He'll call me out of nowhere, man. Like, I hardly talk to this dude. Yeah. Like, we keep in touch, and he'll call me like, hey, what you doing? I'm going to pull up to the West Factory. And I was like, oh, I was going to do a podcast. He's like, oh, I'll hop on. Let's do it together, man. He's really animated and energetic,
Yeah.
And I just be like, damn, like, every time I feel like not doing it, he calls. And he's like the most pumped up person. So I started thinking,
you need it, man.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I started thinking, all right, man, maybe I got to do the podcast.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, we're interviewing people. Now people are calling us like, hey, can we get on? Or, hey, I know this dude. And then like, it's all networking now where it's like, it's all falling into place by itself.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm looking at people like, oh man, I know this dude too. Let me hit him up and shit,
Yep.
And everybody's excited and it's kind of like, oh shit. So maybe this is what we had to do and stuff.
It's pointing you in that direction.
That's what keeps doing it. It's
pointing
by
in that
itself
direction.
in a way.
I believe that, man. Pay attention to all the little things, all the little signs, man. Like it's pointing you in that direction for a reason.
My wife never listened to the music that I invest in. She doesn't listen to gangster rap. She's Christian and she likes like Christian music and stuff, And she taps into the podcast and stuff, And that's one of the things she starts supporting. So I was like, oh man, this has gotta be it, man.
See?
You get me? Like, it's just happening so natural. People are tapping in,
That's dope, man.
And it's just kind of like cool, man. And it makes me happy because I'm just like, it's fun, right? And then hearing your story and giving you a platform also and stuff, man.
Which I appreciate. Thank you, man.
It's pretty dope, man.
Yeah, this is dope. This is dope. This is my first time, like I was telling you, like that I've actually like gotten on camera and like really told things from like beginning to like where it is now.
Yeah.
I haven't done that before, so it's dope to like sit down and like actually like have that conversation and and this is dope, man. I'm glad to see.
And when you go home, you're gonna be like, damn, I forgot to bring that up. oh man, I should have brought that up, you know?
I don't know. I
Yeah.
kind of been replaying this in my head a little bit, like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. You know, we're gonna talk about this because I can literally go on a tirade.
Oh, you can tell, like, you know a
yeah.
lot. You have a lot of life experiences as
Too
well,
much.
too, man. You know?
Honestly, too
I mean, you
much,
probably got
man.
stories in the buses, on planes. And
Oh, yeah.
You get me? Like funny shit, sad shit, you know?
Dude,
Like,
too much,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
You know, I'm just grateful at all times, man, to be here and honestly I'm grateful, you know, to have people that I have around me and the support system that I do have, and to be able to just keep doing, you know, what it is that we do. You know, people take a lot of things for granted, you know, a lot of times,
Yeah.
and they don't realize that like the small blessings that you have in life, man, are a big blessing to somebody else.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know,
One person told me this before, and I mean, it made sense to me. And he was like, everybody walks, right?
yeah,
And you don't think of your feet or the bottom of your
Exactly, you
feet or
don't.
whatever until
You
you
don't.
stub your toe, and then you can't walk, and then you realize how important your feet are.
everything.
It's kind of silly when you think about like the small things sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where you can kind of like, oh, I need to build on this small thing, or I need
Mm-hmm.
to focus on this. Maybe my attitude is shit, so I need to change my fucking attitude, or
Yep.
or anything like that, right? Like,
No,
it's a
you're
trick.
right.
So that made me, when I heard that, it's kind of stupid in a way, right? But it made sense to me at the time where I was kind of like, oh man, you really like things you never think about. Sometimes you should take a little bit of time and focus on it and stuff, you know?
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, yeah.
You definitely should. man.
Self-reflecting, I think, is really important. I try and do that,
Dude,
you know,
I'm
because it's
telling
hard
you.
because everybody thinks they're right.
That's the problem, man.
You know?
Nobody wants to be the bad guy. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
yeah.
saying? You know, everybody has, you know, a victim mentality a lot of times because nobody likes to be wrong and nobody likes to be like, you
Especially
know.
in LA, huh?
Yeah, man, LA is wild, man. I'll be real with you. When I first got here, I'll be completely honest with you, man. Like, the women in LA, like, crazy. It's crazy out here, bro. It's crazy. It's
Everybody's
crazy.
special, man.
Look, man, everybody wants to be special. That's the problem. You know, people are definitely like looking at these TV shows and looking at Instagram way too much and wanting to like, you know, live this
Dream
this
life, right?
lifestyle, man. People
Mhm.
think they're like in an episode of Euphoria. You know,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
the
that's a-
craziest
that's a
shit.
crazy show,
It's
man.
a crazy ass
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
You know, so
And one of the things too, though, is that like when you self-reflect, like I've done that a few times, right? Because I know I fuck up a lot still to this day, you know.
yeah, shit, we all do.
And then it's I know, right?
Shit.
That's why sometimes you'll hear me say, like, when I say something, I already know it's gonna sound wrong, but I don't have the good words for it, maybe, right?
Yeah.
So I'll even apologize in advance, like, hey, I don't mean this like this, you know.
Yeah.
Like that's why earlier I was like, hey, I like to clown a lot, man. So you
Yeah.
know, don't take offense if I say, you know,
Oh,
'cause
nah,
I
not at
just
all.
that's how I am. But now I know that I could be offensive, so I'll
Yep.
tell folks like, or sometimes hold my opinion, right? Because I
Mm-hmm.
know that it's like it's just an opinion, so might as well just
Exactly.
You know, why express that, right? You get me?
Exactly.
If it can come out the wrong way, because you know I never want to discourage anybody or anything like that.
Yeah, not
but,
at all, man.
Yeah.
Not at all.
But you know, like we're coming up in an hour in here, man. You know,
Yeah.
and so what's something you would want to tell folks like that are like, and I ask this to every guest to
Yeah.
inspire people. Like, let's say somebody's gonna pick up the mic today, their notepad, and write a song, and you know they just don't know. Maybe they're like on the fence, so they want to do something like that. Like, what would you do to tell them to inspire them?
Honestly, man, I would say if you have an itch and you feel like it's something that's been kind of like on your mind, just do it. You know, especially if you have the resources and you're around it, or even if you don't have the resources. If it's something that's pointing you in the direction to do something, it could be anything, even outside of music. I would always say just go for that, because that's honestly your true calling and your true purpose. You know, when you ignore those signs, you start kind of like falling into other things that like don't really fulfill you or make you happy. So like my example, you know, was that like my cousin made music and he got a studio. You know, I didn't have to get in the studio and do anything.
Yeah, yeah.
I could have just hung out with him and his friends and watched
Yeah.
them make music. But something was like, bro, just do it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not good, then it's not good.
Yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
but if you enjoyed it, you can try to get better at it. You know? And that was like my number one thing, you know. So anybody who was like trying to get into music, I would very much so say just try. Just try, man, because you never know. You know, honestly, you never know. My grandma bought my first microphone for me when I was like 15 years old. It was a shitty microphone too. It was like a Blue Snowball. I don't know if you know that.
No,
But Blue
no,
Snowball
no.
is like a shitty condenser microphone. It sat on my desk, and I did the best I could with that.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
and I was happy just to have that shitty
Yeah,
$50
yeah.
microphone just sitting on my desk and
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, making songs in my room, man. So it's like that's the feeling of joy, you know, that you get from doing things that you truly love. So it's
Definitely.
like do something that you truly love, man. You know, no matter if you get anything from it or you know you have to wait a long time to get something from it because you know you got to put that grind in, put that work in, you know, to see results. So yeah, enjoy the process. is what I would say. I've been doing this for a very, very long time, man. So it's like, enjoy the process. And I'm still doing it right now because I enjoy it. I always come back to it. Even when like I've had down moments and tears and all types of shit, man. Like I come back to it because I really enjoy this. And this is like, you know, it's in me, you know.
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, man.
So I mean, just keep to it, man. Any shout outs you want to give or anything like that?
Shit, man. I'll just give a shout out to everybody who's been working with me since day one. You know, people that I've met, that I've, you know, crossed paths with, people who might have given me advice on life. Anybody that, you know, has like been there for me in any kind of way, you know, and supported me in any kind of way when I really needed it. You know, maybe it might have been a conversation or
those couches, you know, and stuff. Yeah.
Couches and shit, man. So those people know who they are for sure. They definitely know. It's too many to count. Because it's like I moved around so much. Yeah. But they know who they are, man. You know, so shout out to anybody who's ever like, you know, looked out for me in any kind of way. And I plan on, you know, making everybody proud, man. You know, MYKA, man, I'm coming.
There you go. Bro. Oh, and so what's up with MYKA? Like, is that an abbreviation for something? Is that your name?
It's my real name, man. It's my real name. Shout out to my mom.
Dope. Yeah,
Shout out to my mom, man.
And how'd you get the name for your Instagram though? Who the fuck is MYKA?
Oh man, yeah. I remember you were talking to me about that earlier. So like, I don't know. When I would move to these cities and I would like start meeting people and shit, and I started kind of like, you know, building a little bit of like I guess I would say a little community or group of people that I might have been meeting and shit. And they would always be like, yo, you know my boy MYKA, whatever. And somebody or some girl would be like, who the fuck is MYKA? Like, she'd be like, who is that? Like, and I was like, yo, I've been hearing it so much. And like, because they're talking about me as if they know me because I've been like kind of like in the mix with so much that's going on and like that scene of people who make music or whatever the case is. But they're just like, who the fuck is MYKA, man? Like, I don't know who the fuck that dude is. Like, you keep talking about him. Like, you know, so that's kind of where that came from, man. I was just like, oh, this is clever. This is sick. So I am making merch for that too as well. So there will be who the fuck is MYKA t-shirts coming very soon. Not gonna lie to you.
Man. And we wish you the best of luck too, bro. You know what I mean? It looks like you carry yourself really good. You have a good history. You have ambition and stuff, man. So we do wish you the best with your single. We'll make sure we repost it and stuff, and so man. Maybe you know our platform can jump on it. They either hate it, they love it, or they don't fuck with it and shit. But either way,
cool, man.
That's life, right?
It's life, man. It's life. I made that song for me, man. You know, and I hope that like with the message behind it, which is like sometimes you need a restart. You know, and you need to hit a reset button and get back to like what really like makes you you. And why you're doing what you're doing. So that's really what that song is about, man. Like new beginnings, So yeah.
Well, that's dope, man. That's dope. Yeah. So again, thanks for everybody that tapped in. If you ain't subscribed to our channel, make sure you subscribe, drop a comment, drop those likes. Let's get this algorithm up on this episode, man. And thanks for everybody that was live on the chat. I know everybody got something to do on Saturday night instead of you chose to be with us today.
Thank you. Right? All my friends who are on the East Coast, appreciate y'all. I know it's like maybe like 10 o'clock right now, so thank y'all, man, for like,
they're on their phone at the bar and stuff,
I appreciate, all my friends, who tapped in, man. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. And like I said, man, like I plan on making everybody, proud for sure. So
that's what's up, man. Make sure you stay tuned. We got some more great content. Shout out to the sponsors and everything. Just Junk Pros, and everybody.
Yes, sir.
Sweet Life and Val Seafood, man. She's going to be open tomorrow. Make sure you tap in, get some of that shrimp. All right, man. Thanks for tapping in. Have a good night, everybody.
Peace.